Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel XAT Turning Problems into Solutions. This is me Priyasha and in this video we'll be discussing the negative tones of the RC part 2. And remember that if you want to practice more with me and join my live classes where you will be discussing your doubts and questions with me, then you can surely check out my Unacademy free live classes. I come live at 1:30 p.m. every day. So you can check the link in the description box and follow my profile there so that you get notified of every time I come live, absolutely free. Remember this. And with this, I want to definitely tell you about the Unacademy's Learning Festival. You might not find it relevant for you being a CAT aspirant, but of course, if you know someone in your acquaintances who are preparing for NEET, UG, IIT, JEE, or is in class 8 or class 12, to up to class 12, then that is a fantastic opportunity for them, because remember, Unacademy never gets down to such an affordable rate of just 239 rupees. You heard me right. It's written 299 on the screen, but if you use the link in the description box and my code Priyasha10, you would be getting all of this at a discounted rate of 239 only. And you know what are you going to get for 239 rupees? You're going to get free mentorship, exclusive mentorship for all the students, along with the live classes from the top educators, quizzes, multiple study notes, CBSE board preparation, 24/7 doubt solving, and the list is long. So what you just need to do is check the link in the description box and quickly enroll using the code Priyasha10. And if you are not planning to gift it to someone, at least let the people in your surroundings know about this learning festival. Tell them about this, give them the particular link and the code, and ask them to enroll. A mere investment of 239 rupees can be life changing for them, because at least they will get access to the multiple notes which they can use even after the 45 days of subscription is over. So make sure you use it to the fullest and share it with the people who need it the most. And with this, I'll be getting started with my video now. Hello everyone, welcome to the second part of the tones of RCs, in which we'll be discussing the negative tones yet again, and same the anger based tones over here as we did in the part 1. So you know, when a person is angry, he can be angry in various dimensions: angry and not speaking, angry and shouting, angry but speaking in a very different tone so as to maintain the words but still come out with negative thoughts. So all these types of difference in anger are being treated and taken care of in part 1, and I'll also take the remaining in the part 2. So if you haven't seen the part 1 video, which covers acerbic to euphemistic, please check it out either at the link in the description box, end screen of this video, or the I button at the top. Very essential to maintain a continuity. And then we'll move to the part 2, where we'll start with provocative and go up to disapproving. Now, as I told you that if you watch any video on internet, you would be seeing that generally they work on the synonyms and they try to make the number of tones as 100 or more than 100. But I'll not be doing so. I'll be trying to bring up the difference between each option I am coming up with. Okay, so provocative, starting with provocative, something which you like, which provoking, okay, instigating, inciting. It can be in the negative manner of irritating also, okay, and can be stimulating also. So इनमें से कोई भी तरह की feeling को depict करने वाला tone will be called as a provocative tone. So understand, like, think where the author is trying to speak about a topic in a provocative manner. How can he provoke the readers? He can provoke the readers by constantly asking questions. Yeah, that's the way how you will realize that the tone in this passage can be provocative, where the reader is constantly asking you questions. Don't you think that it should be done in the other way? Don't you think that there's a better way which exists rather than this? Don't you think that this person should have gone through this path rather than this path? Don't you think that the person should have answered the query like that? All these type of questions actually show that the author is trying to provoke the readers, and therefore the tone is provocative. Fine. Moving next, we have a sarcastic tone. Okay, our favorite, frequently asked tone, that's the sarcastic tone. So we keep saying that when we are talking to our friends and relatives as well, that are you talking to me in a sarcastic tone, where you are saying something but you're meaning something else. Suppose if I say that I broke my phone today, and then my friend will come and say, oh wow, wonderful news. So this is a sarcastic tone where absolutely the person should have been in sorrow and grief or a surprise after listening to all of this, but he or she turns out to be giving a absolutely opposite expression. So that is sarcastic tone. Sarcastic tones can be taken as taunting tones, okay, where you are taunting, where the author is constantly saying that, okay, suppose the author is talking about the government and saying the number of policies we have for the students studying below the age of this in the public schools, but the sarcastic tone will be not the irony. Please do not confuse with the irony. Sarcastic tone will be where the author is stating that, but we find most of the children in the fields. Okay, so this kind of tone is called as sarcastic tone. Now we'll go to the next tone and we'll try to understand what is the meaning of vindictive. Now I want you guys to do some work. What is that work which I want you to do? I want you to google these words on your own, because when you google these words you will get to know about them in a little more detail. Okay, so vindictive, if you have googled already, I assume, then that means vengeful, okay, spiteful, unforgiving. Suppose the author is writing something in a very unforgiving manner, that whatever that person did is something which cannot be forgotten, okay, it's very bad and the person is very bad, his activities are very bad, things like this carry a vindictive tone. जिस तरह की एक्टिविटीज को आप भूल नहीं सकते, जिसे आप माफ नहीं कर सकते, दिस इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट वर्ड आई एम यूजिंग हियर, अनफॉरगिविंग. ओके, अभी तक वी हैव कम अक्रॉस मेनी वर्ड्स जिसमें हम लोग एंगर डिपिक्ट कर रहे थे, बट जब एंगर इस स्टेज पर आ जाता है वेर यू कैन नॉट फॉरगिव द मिस्टेक्स, that stage is called vindictive. So when you realize that the author is in such a state where he is not just complaining about the other person, but in a stage where he is not ready to give an apology, okay, like I mean accept an apology, that is vindictive phase. Okay, then comes wretched. Now see, this is a very commonly used English word where wretched means miserable, and when you realize that the author is just depicting the misery or feeling very sorrowful and distressed, then that tone will be wretched. Now this doesn't comes under anger as such, but comes under sorrow and disappointment. Okay, scathing is a term which comes under anger again. So scathing means very stinging, very harsh, very critical, and this is also one of the frequently asked ones. So remember, if you get a passage where the author is constantly talking about the negative parts of a object, then it can be any one of them. And as I mentioned in my first part, you cannot get scathing and like acerbic together, so do not worry about that, that situation won't come. Now another can be outraged. Outrage का मतलब ही गुस्सा होता है, scornful का मतलब ही गुस्सा होता है. So we know that these are nothing but synonyms. The only reason for bringing it up over here was to tell you कि इस तरह से लोग आपको fool कर सकते हैं in any video or in any place, stating that there are more than hundreds of टोन्स. ओके, सो ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. अगर आपको स्कॉर्नफुल का मतलब पता है एंड आउटरेज का मतलब पता है, तो आप इसके साथ बहुत सारे ऐसे सिनोनिम्स भी जोड़ सकते हैं जो कि इस मीनिंग में आए. And sometimes the question paper setter tries to do the same thing, so you will not fall into the trap of it because now you already know it. Then moving to the nasty part. Nasty is something which is abusive. Now there's a word which will define nasty. Okay, nasty बाकी चीजों से अलग क्यों है? Because it is abusive and unpleasant. Okay, you can also call it as unpleasant. Now what makes it different? यहाँ पर एंग्री सिर्फ हम इस बात पर नहीं है कि कोई चीजें नहीं हो रही या कोई इंसान गलत है. वी आर फीलिंग, वी आर राइटिंग द पैसेज इन एन अब्यूसिव टोन, constantly abusing, okay, constantly showing our displeasure, that's nasty. Okay, so nasty is not anger, it's a disagreeable situation, okay, where you do not agree with it, pessimistic. Then comes the macabre, that is horrifying, frightening. So if you are describing an accident or an incident which is horrifying, that comes under the category of macabre. Malicious, as the name suggests, is desiring to harm others, okay, spiteful, ill-willed. So if your passage seems to be talking about any circumstances or any plots where the one character is plotting something against the other, that can turn into malicious. Okay. Indignant. Okay, that's interesting. What do you think indignant will take us to? Indignant is something which is annoying. Okay. If you are indignant, you are annoyed, you are angry, you are dissatisfied. So one term which will make it different from the others is annoying. So when you feel annoyed, then the tone of the passage can be like when are you annoyed? When you can't do anything about it but to persist it, that is the stage of annoyance. But agar aap gussa ho, okay, and you just punch him or her back, that's not annoying, that's not a stage of annoyance, that's not a stage of indignant. So try to get that fine line. जब आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते उसके बारे में सिवाय you know crying over it, that's annoyance, and that's the thing which will make this indignant part different from vindictive, scornful and other tones like that. So जब भी आपको ऐसा लगे कि author in the passage is constantly crying about or complaining about something but could not come up with a solution as such, तब आप उसे indignant tone बोलोगे. Fine, that's how you will remember this. And then after that we have incensed. Incensed is very angry, so that's just a synonym of the word angry. When you feel that the author is angry, he's incensed. And disapproving is same as not agreeing with something, and that is very common to understand, and I don't need to give any explanation for the same. So these were all the negative angry tones we discussed in part 1 and part 2. Next, I'll be moving to the sad tones, which goes into a different category of negative. I'll discuss neutral tones and I'll also discuss positive tones. But for all of this, for the new ones who have come to my channel, you need to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell icon so that you get notified of every new video. And one more very essential thing is to like this video if you like this video, and share it with more and more people, because I want more people to know about these free videos on net. So please share it as much as you can, guys. And if you want to practice more with me in my live sessions, then please join me at Unacademy, where I come live every day at 1:30 p.m. The links are already there in the description box. You can join my free classes and practice more with me along with these videos on the YouTube. So with this, I will be winding up this video. Thank you so much for watching this. And till I come up with the next video, please take care of yourself.